Hey, Dolores, let's wrap up with Nostradamus, and then we'll go to the final phone calls for you, okay?
Okay, yeah, because that's one thing I found that I think is important. Like I said, he said if one person can control their own destiny, imagine the power of group mind. If you get groups of people focusing on one thing, like peace and harmony, you can create that. Because with group mind, the power is not only multiplied, it's squared. So that's what he wanted me to tell all over the world. And I've now come to the conclusion, some of you people out there might think it's a cop-out, but I think we have averted the worst, what he wanted us to do. And I think we're headed down another direction that's going to be very good. So I don't think the absolute worst that he saw is going to happen now. And this includes the Antichrist, because maybe we have lessened it. He kept saying if you go down a different path of these probabilities and possibilities, you can lessen it or stop it, keep it from happening if you know what's going to happen. Now, I filmed for the History Channel, and that show is being shown right now. It's called The Nostradamus Effect. When I filmed for it, I was trying to come up with this idea, that maybe we have averted it and are going down a different path and it won't be so bad. Well, they didn't use that information. The show is still focused on the Antichrist and the wars and all the horrible things that he saw. But he kept saying over and over again, these are the worst case scenarios. They don't have to happen. So on the History Channel, they used part of my interview, but not the part I was trying to stress anyway.
Okay, let's go to the calls. You ready?
Okay, I guess so.
Here we go. Let's go to David, Fort Myers, Florida. First-time caller. David, you're on with Delores Cannon.
Hello, George. I want to thank you for your shows and all the things you've done and taught everybody out there. It's really awesome.
Thank you, David.
My question is, when I heard her talking about the first wave, it's like I almost fell to pieces. I'm 47 years old, and when I was 9 years old, I told my mother one day, I said, Mom, somebody made a mistake. I don't belong here, and I want to go home. And she looked at me and she said, what are you talking about? I said, I can't deal with this. I said, you people are driving me nuts with all the games that the people play with each other and struggles for control and power. And and she just looked at me and shook her head. When I got to be like 17, I tried to commit suicide. I have a habit of seeing everything the way it is. And people, I've noticed that, if they don't like what they see, they go into denial, and they keep doing the same things over and over again. And as a human race, we've been doing that for thousands of years. My question for you is, do you have any recommendations for, people who are first wave that are experiencing these problems, what they should be doing or what they could possibly do to make it a little easier?
That's a big question, but I'll tell you what you were saying about your childhood, I've heard again and again and again. And so you're not alone out there. That's one thing. People kept thinking I'm the only one in the world who feels this way. But if you realize there are many others now who are going through the same things, that might help you. But they said the main thing you're here to do is to help other people in whatever capacity you want to find, but to help other people. They wouldn't even have to understand why. But they said that's the main reason we're here on Earth, is to help each other. I don't know if that helps or not.
Well, is there a way to, find these other people?
Well, you won't know them from anybody else, but I think you'll feel drawn to them.
Okay.
That you may find somebody else. If you get to talking to them, they might say, I don't like all this stuff on TV. I don't like the violence, the wars, and you might find more kindred spirits out there than you realize there are.
Delores, tell us a little bit about some of these hidden underground cities. This fascinates me.
Okay, they've been there for thousands and thousands of years because when Atlantis went down, instead of some of them perishing, they went underground. And a lot of these underground cities were built by the ETs way, way, way back. This is where they had their bases when they were forming everything on Earth. The surface of the Earth was too violent. They couldn't live there, so they built the underground cities. And they're a whole system of cities all throughout the surface of the Earth. And down there, they put what they call a miniature sun, is what people described when they saw it. So living there is just like living on Earth. They have plants, they have animals that don't exist anymore, and they are so advanced that our computers don't even begin to touch what they can do. They have transportation systems that they said can go 3,000 miles an hour. Now it's not ETs so much as it is humans that have been there for so long, they have no desire to come to the surface of the Earth. The entrances to the underground cities are mostly under pyramids. This is one of the reasons why Hadi Zawas doesn't want a lot of exploration around the pyramids and the Sphinx. But the pyramids all over the world were built on top of the entrances to these underground cities. That's very active. It's a whole civilization down there, and they don't want to be involved with us, so you don't have to worry about that.
Okay, let's go next to Reba in Colville, Washington. Hey, Reba, go ahead.
Hi, George.
Hi.
I'm also a 7 life path and a 4 birthday.
Super.
So, yeah. Anyway, Delores, I have always been psychic. I'm precognizant dreamer. I have out-of-body experiences. I'm earth-sensitive. In fact, I even called in and spoke with Art one evening, and this was 2 weeks prior to the Nisqually quake here in Washington State, and told him in detail about that quake before it happened.
Oh.
Now, I've also found out that I can channel for people, do cold channeling.
Yeah.
And I can remember back to, being only 2 weeks old. I seem to just know things. But now, I was born in 1948, and I'm wondering if there aren't others who fall into the categories that you have described that did come in prior to the dates that you gave. And is it possible that I might be one of them?
Well, 48 is still after the atomic bomb.
It's right in there, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I've heard some people say, could I be an older first wave? But
right.
see, you definitely fit in the category because many of these people are psychic. They do know things that are before they're going to happen. And some of them can remember being born. They remember back that far. So,
well, I actually remember before that. And I remember being with another little girl, and this was prior to being born. And we were discussing our future lives and what they would be like and what we would do and what we would learn. And then she left before me, and then I remember I left, but the next thing I remember is being 2 weeks old in a park in Nebraska.
Okay. Well, see, I hear this constantly from people. Some of them do remember being on the other side of what we call the planning session when they're deciding.
Right.
They have conscious memories of these things. They don't have to be put in trance to do it.
Well,
so
I was not in trance.
No, that's what I mean. These people, these people have a conscious memory. That's what I mean. And I'm hearing this more and more. So it's becoming, you're not alone out there. There are many people like this. But I think because of your psychic abilities, you definitely would fall into this category. Because it hasn't been taken away by years and years of living on Earth and getting involved in karma. You haven't suffered from that, you know?
Yeah, the other thing is I'm very sensitive to antibiotics and things. Have you heard of that before?
Stay away from medicine, period. I am definitely, I work with alternative medicine, and